Yesterday, I went live and I talked about my experience being at Turn Up Conference, and after 6 years, all the things that I've learned about the perfect balance of being both planned and present. And maybe I need to call this a series of planned presence, the power of planned presence. I don't know, I just made that up. But I wanted today to add on to that topic because yes, and when you're on stage, when you're being an MC at a conference, it's really important to know the balance between being planned and present, being structured and leaving space for creativity. It's really important to know those things when you're on stage. However, it's super important to also know that in your day-to-day, for your business, for your content strategy, for the way that you host a Zoom room. And I wanted to coach you a little bit today on that because I've also seen this in my clients time and time again. It's crazy. I coach some very successful women and they make multi-six figures annually and they're still questioning, what do I post? What do I say? And I'm here to just first plant the seed of you don't have to know exactly what you're doing. You don't have to know the exact how of where you're going in order to be really good at what you do. There is one thing that is required to know what to do if you want to be both planned and present in the same arena, and that is just knowing exactly what your truth is right now. And I think this is very interesting because when I tell my clients that they need to know their truth right now, I also have to ask them, where in your life are you doing the inner work? Where are you focusing on strengthening your perspectives? Where are you focusing on strengthening your wisdom? And not for a sake of I'm here to grow, but actually knowing your inner SHIT and cleaning it up. And sometimes that can feel ugly. Sometimes that can feel really messy, but we turn that around and we put that in your content and it creates this insane collective around your brand. So before I move forward and I coach you on this, I want you to know that the doors are open to the takeover, which is my 6-month mastermind. And you can apply to join the takeover. The link is in my bio. And inside of the takeover, we do work like this all the time. But you'll also get access to Sold Out Launch, which is currently underway. We're in week 2, where I'm taking women through an entire launch of an offer that they've created start to finish. And it's all centered around content. It's all centered around you building your brand and scaling who you are and creating this really strong reputation so that people continuously want to join your world. So if you join the takeover, if you apply to the takeover and you get accepted to join, you'll get full access to Sold Out Launch, which is live right now. Okay. Let me follow my notes here so that I don't talk your ear off because I tend to do that. But the reason that content is feeling hard for you right now is simply because you're not connected to that truth. And you're coming from a place of what do I say? You're coming from a place of how do I tell them about this offer that I've created? How do I describe the fact that they need to get into my world right now? And you're not really fighting for anything except for a sale. And what we need to get you back to doing is fighting for you, fighting for your voice to continuously grow in its power. So I remember when I was creating Online Course Creator, and if you've listened to my lives before, you've heard me talk about that program that I created. I created this program at the end of 2023, and I spent hours, you guys, creating Online Course Creator, which honestly, the name in itself, I would never name a program Online Course Creator, something so bland and dull. I would never name something that to this day. But back then, this is just who I was. And I remember spending hours in this office and I recorded the videos and I created the curriculum and I wanted there to be homework and I wanted there to be workbooks to follow and I wanted an entire calendar and I wanted to create all this information overload and package it into this online course. And my hope was that I would be able to teach women how to build their own online course. And then I would eventually be able to flip a switch and all of a sudden make passive income from this course. That was my hope. And the craziest thing is this whole time that I was creating Online Course Creator in 2023, I was insanely out of alignment. I was truly just thinking to myself, this is gonna be the thing that helps me build my business. I wasn't thinking this is what I've learned. This is coming from a place of experience, and I'm going to turn this into wisdom that I can hand over to people and also allow them to collapse time along the way. The way that I do things now is I very much help you cut corners so that you don't have to go through doing what I did in such a long amount of time. You can do it quickly. So anyway, I tell you that story because throughout me creating Online Course Creator, I was trying so hard to sound like a leader. I was trying so hard to like sound like an authority and be the expert and come off as like, you should listen to me because I know what I'm doing, instead of coming from a place of here's what I've learned and here's where I've failed, here's where I've made mistakes, here's what I used to think, which is the wrong way of thinking. Instead of me telling the stories around my truth, I was trying so hard to tell stories that would help people believe that I was the one that they should buy from. And we all naturally go to that. Like, it's not, I'm not even beating myself up. I'm thankful for her. I'm thankful for that version of me, because I wouldn't be sitting here with you today able to tell you to get recentered on your truth and your content in order for people to actually believe you. No, not even to believe you. In order for people to like actually see you. Like, no one's connecting with you because you're trying too hard. But truly, like, you're trying too hard and you're not coming from this source of like telling true stories. You're chasing something instead of grounding in the version of you that already is, because of all the work that you've done. So I want you to take a moment and I want you to just think about these reflective questions before I move into some of the prompts that I want to hand over to you for your content. But I want you to ask yourself, like, if you were to look at your content right now, if you were to go to your profile, in the last few posts, like let's say the last 3 to 6 posts, are you recognizing that you are stating and telling stories around your evolution of who you are as a woman? Like, do you recognize that you're fighting for your evolution in your content? Or do you recognize that you're actually fighting for acceptance? You're fighting for likes. You're fighting to be chosen. You're fighting to feel validated. Maybe you're fighting to be seen as successful. You're fighting for sales. Like, where is it that you're putting on and instead you're avoiding the truth of which needs to be told? So I want you to have those reflective questions, and I want you to think about those for a minute, and I want you to kind of go to your profile and see yourself from like this out of body perspective. And then I want you to think about these questions that I'm about to ask you, and I want you to create pieces of content around these questions. So the first prompt that I would give you is, what if you were to sit with yourself right now? Okay, you're watching this live or you're watching the replay. What is the current belief that you're working through right now that you have to rewrite in your life, like in your mind, in your heart? What is the current belief that you're fighting? Like, if you were to get so good at catching yourself and saying like, why do I have that? Why am I building that story in my mind? Like, that story is not even true. And you think to yourself, you catch yourself and you think, I need to rewrite that in order to empower myself. So again, you can sit down and you can try to make up what this is, or you can get fully present and you can be with yourself in the moment and you can be like, oh, that's the story. Like, that's the thing that I'm building. And I'll tell you what mine is, okay? So right now I'm feeling very successful in my business. Like, I am taking off. It feels like people are joining me left and right. Like, my revenue is at an all-time high. I feel like I'm very empowered in my leadership. And the belief that I'm rewriting right now is that I might lose it all. Like, I feel like I'm so up here that I have this inner belief that I need to rewrite that this is only temporary, that I'm only going to be up here for so long. So if I were to create a piece of content around that, I would talk about how that is what I'm holding right now. That's what I'm working through. And I would talk about my truth centered around that. Here's the things that I'm doing to move through that. Okay, so that's prompt number 1. You have to get very in tune with what's real for you. Prompt number 2 is, what is one thing that you know for sure that your past self did not know? What is one thing that you know right now for sure as truth that your past version of you did not know? So this can also be centered around the transformation. If you're talking about like a specific offer, if you're talking about like a specific program, you can come from that place, or you can just come from like, I sit here today as Chandler, I'm 33 years old, and my past self actually didn't realize that entrepreneurship was ever an option for me. Like, I didn't think that I wanted that. I thought that that was going to require like way too much work. I thought that, truly, like I did think that. I thought it was going to require me having to like be famous. I don't know. These were old thoughts that I had. I thought it was going to require me to have to be broke, all of these things. And now I'm sitting in this chair right now coming from entrepreneurship, and I don't believe any of those things anymore. I actually think entrepreneurship, it does require hard work, but man, what a beautiful thing to be, what's the phrase that goes to be exhausted in the pursuit of your dreams. I'd rather be exhausted from fighting for something that I love than be exhausted from a 9-to-5 that feels like I'm on a hamster wheel. So it's that sort of truth too, that you can tell that story. Okay, so that's prompt number 2. And in prompt number 2, you want to anchor in what you've earned versus what you've learned. What have you earned? And it's I know for a fact, and I put this in my post today actually, I have earned the right to feel creative because I've gone to certain events, or I've joined certain masterminds, or I've taken up space in a way where I've unlocked creativity. So that's not something that I learned, it's something that I've earned. So you can talk about that in prompt number 2. Okay, prompt number 3, to anchor into your truth. If you're just hopping on the live, we're talking about getting very true in our content versus trying to put on or post something that we think we should be posting. So prompt number 3 is, if your next customer or client or follower, if you're still in the midst of building this, if they needed to hear the rawest, most honest thing that you could say to her today, what would you say? The honest, most raw truth that someone needs to hear from you today, and this is someone that you would love to work with, what is that thing that you would tell her or him? And you want to come to this piece of post with you can be a little bit more audacious. You can be a little bit more authority driven, where you're coming from a place of you need to know this and you need to stop wasting time. Or you need to know this and you need to stop feeling bad for yourself. You need to know this and you, I don't know, you need to stop seeking external validation, whatever that thing is. So you're going to come from a place of, I am 10 steps ahead of my ideal client, my ideal customer, and I want to give her or him I want to serve them the rawest truth. Here's what I'm going to say. And you're going to put that into a piece of content. Okay. Now with all 3 prompts, I want you to ask yourself, are you just posting something with a ton of words, or are you actually thinking to yourself, whatever I post here, what I'm sharing is actually serving my audience. It's actually delivering value. And I know that we've all been trained, we've all been coached on you got to post valuable content, you got to share the value, you got to educate, you got to coach, blah, blah, blah. The question actually is this serving anyone? Could they walk away from this piece of content with a new perspective, thinking differently, maybe evoking emotion or trying something new? Are they going to walk away a little bit different than before they came? And that's the goal with every single post. So I wanted to give you those 3 prompts, and you can go and run with that and just start to infuse this super strong connectedness in your content, this truth, instead of coming from a place of what can I post today to make a sale? Or what can I post today to have a strong close, a strong call to action? Sammy, what up, girl? So that is, my phone is dying. So that is my signal. So I wanted to close with you just need to remind yourself when you are creating content that the truth of what's happening in your life, of whatever's taking place in your mind and in your heart right now, that is enough. That is enough for your content. You don't have to go learn a formula of how to put words on a screen or how to craft a perfect hook. You just have to tell the truth. And if you show up from that version of you, if you create from that version of you, watch what happens when you stop overthinking everything. Now, again, I will say this one more time. This way of creating content is going to require you to crack yourself open and see parts of yourself that you might think are scary to see, and then work through them. So where can you heal yourself, and then where can you put that into your content? And where can you tell the world, I'm here to friggin' take up space, and I'm here to continuously evolve, and I'm here to plaster my healing and splash my progression all over my content, because it helps me and it makes me feel good, but also because it serves you. So that is where you're coming from this place with these 3 prompts. No one teaches it better than you. I love you so much, Karina. Thank you so much. Cherie, my girl in the house. I love you guys. Thanks for watching live. This is really fun. Maybe I need to start going live in the evening time. Actually, no, my brain works way better in the morning. But, okay. So if you create any of these prompts, I would love for you to slide into my DMs and like send me the post so that I can go cheer for you and I can love on your creation. And just a reminder, the doors to the takeover, which is my 6-month mastermind, they're open. So if you want to send in your application, the application is in my bio. You just click the little link there. It'll say join team takeover or something cute like that. And you'll create your application. And if you're accepted, you will be welcomed into the takeover space, which is the coolest place in the entire world. Mic drop. Yes, Sammy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I love you guys so much. I'm going to go smash some Jersey Mike's. I got a, what is it called? Turkey, provolone, and gotta add bacon. Gotta add bacon. It's huge. So I'm going to go enjoy that, and I'm going to rest, and I'm going to drink some water. Oh my gosh. Yay. Thank you for being here. I love you so much. Mwah. Have a good night.